What's up, Queen of NASA? Made it to season 6? Yeah, baby. We're all in. I'm slowly getting all this stuff done. We are, what is this, the 4th day in a row that we've made our time slot? Are you kidding me? That's crazy bones. How's your day? I also had my first Big Mac yesterday. Just because of the stream? You had to see what the hype was about? What did you think? Good, bad, ugly? Let's fix this. Nice. Maybe something like that. My day's going good, lol. Haven't slept since 11 a.m. 2 days ago. Oh my god. Big Mac's good. The sauce is what makes me say it's mediocre. Interesting. I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, the Big Mac sauce is the reason that we do it. The Big Mac sauce is why we eat it. Is this a normal thing of not sleeping forever? Or is this like a very recent thing? But yeah, I'm trying to finish season 6. Oh, season 6 of Ninjago, of course. That makes much more sense. It's normal now? Damn, that stinks. Does it ever... Does it like ruin your days? Is it something that's sort of like a chronic pain? Or is it just kind of like I just don't sleep? Melatonin doesn't work, so I just got used to it. Damn. That's crazy. Sorry that's happening. I had a couple years where I was sleeping. I would go to bed super late and wake up. I would go to bed at like 1 or so, and then I would wake up at 5 every single day. So I just had a consistent 4 hours every single night, but I would work out to try and like recoup some energy. Did it for a year. Didn't really work out for me. What's up, Crow? No, not really. I can function on a good week before it effects start to take in. Damn. Crow, it's going well. We learned that NASA does not sleep pretty much ever. Speaking of sleeping, are you going to bed? We might have already missed Bloom. He might have decided to cut his losses and go to bed early. Why do you stream so damn late? Hey, I wish I could tell you. I could try and start. Is that a Stella? Whoa, Violet Jelly, new viewer, came in just to call out my Stella. Yeah, it is. We're chilling. We're late night drawing. It is 11 p.m. after all. I keep forgetting that like all of you are on East Coast for some reason. Do you draw, Violet? Or are you just planning on reporting me for having an enjoying drink? Let's start this TikTok live. I love Stella, just decided to click. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. We do a lot of drawing tutorials. We do random stuff. We do like big studies, small studies, cartoon characters. We take suggestions. Basically, we're just consistently chilling. We usually draw for like an hour, and then we call it quits. But I love crafting. Oh, sweet. Same. I also, on top of drawing, I sew a lot, which is badass. All crafting is badass. I think everyone should have a craft they do. You don't know where you are? Anyway, that's great. Dragon puppets, that sounds cool. They are. Crafting is my expertise. Oh, you posted one? I gotta check that out. Once more to draw a crow? We're always doing crows, Crow. What if we do, let's find a different bird. How about that? What if we drew a different bird? Also, wait, I'm gonna test something. Damn, it doesn't work. I'm trying to set up so Twitch chat also sits on the screen, but guess what? It ain't working. No way I want to learn how to sew and crochet. I would not buy clothes. That's the whole thing. What I usually do, my favorite project is going into thrift stores and buying really big clothes that I like the look of, and then tailoring them and making them awesome. An owl then? We could do an owl. Alright. Let's draw... Whoa, Cheesefly reposted. Thank you very much. Let's draw an owl down here, how about? Let's look. Anyone got any specific owl recommendations, or should I just find a cool one? What about a barn owl, huh? Hey, Cheesefly. Oh yeah, we found him. I made a new art of my OC and the person I shipped with late last morning. Oh, sweet. Great horned owl. Oh, what's up, Grape? We can do great horned owl. Oh, yeah. Great horned owls are so damn cool. Besides from crows. Get a pic of Doodles. What the hell is Doodles? Okay. So, for the Doodles army, you guys have lost me. For owls, like we always do with birds, right? All of the tutorials that I've always just searched the owl, it looks beautiful. Doesn't it? He's so handsome. Just like we do with every single bird drawing. We want to start with simple shapes. Okay? That's basically the only thing that I'm mildly decent at teaching, is the simple shapes method. So, do I even want to do it here? Yeah, we will. With an owl, especially, they have these long bodies, so we can start with a big oval, just like the crow. But the most interesting part is that their neck is usually pretty fat. And because of that fat neck, all of that fur surrounding it, that's how they can get that crazy rotation. Doodles is a Dragon Pup Creo, has over 100k subs. She is a famous puppeteer. Oh, cool. That's incredible. So you guys both like dragon puppets. That is crazy. I would have never expected. How come that's never gotten brought up in chat before? So, with this owl drawing, I'm going to clear up some real estate from this burger, right, that we drew last stream. And we are going to throw in just a little bit of headroom for this guy. And the reason we need the headroom for this owl is because great horned owls, just like the name, have these massive feathers on top that make it look like they have horns or antlers, right? So to draw these horns, we're going to just add in super simple ovals. Again, everything we're going to do for the first 15 minutes of this drawing are going to be simple shapes. Oh, what's up, Assassin? Do you make dragons? We have a lot of crafters in chat. I wonder how many fellow puppeteers are in this stream right now. That's what I'm thinking. I think most are. Okay. So we have all of these simple shapes. We have the two ovals for what the horns are going to be. We have the head shape. Every single animal's head can start with a circle. Every single drawing. Oh my god, those feathers, I'm too invested. We might not get to a beautiful feather point in this drawing because I'm going to try and keep it quick, but we can do a little bit of it. Now that we have that circle for the head, that neck cut out, we can go back and finish out, or not finish out, but we can add a little bit more permanent lines to this big oval body. Now, this oval is going to extend past into a triangle because, like all birds, like you can see up in this crow, tail feathers and the wing feathers all flutter back into this sort of mullet behind the bird, right? I love how Nathan just makes shit up on the moment as commentary. Yo, that's the whole point. I've been practicing. I feel like that's the only reason you guys stick around is because I just have a constant stream of bullshit to talk about. Okay. Oh, what's up, Bo? So, we're doing horned owls. As we've discussed, this simple shape, triangle, this simple shape, oval, small little rectangle for the neck, small little circle for the head, small little ovals for the horns. That's basically it. This is essentially all of the structure we need for this owl. We can even go in, and I think the wing is probably going to take up about a third of the body. So I'm going to throw in another oval, just something totally chill, just something not horrible, right? We're just going to throw that in, and that's going to give us an indication of where those details should be later on. I'm realizing now that you can barely see any of this bullshit. God damn it! What a horrible life I live. Okay, let me fix all of this bull, and we will be off and running. Look at that! Okay, much better. We have got the burger to keep us company. We have Baby Godzilla. It's all incredible. Yeah, anyway, Nathan, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling nicer than yesterday? Sort of. Oh god, Assassin Doggo's in the Twitch chat again. It's fine. I think last night I had the inkling, and then today I had maybe a little bit of the fallout. But I think I'm back to normal. Draw an alien wearing skinny jeans? Oh my god. We can make that happen. Guess who has 8 channels now? Dusk. You gotta cut back on those channels. We'll create a reminder that we're gonna draw an alien with skinny jeans on. That's our reminder. I can't promise anything. So, with all of these simple shapes, you might be thinking, damn, we have a long way to go before this looks good. And in reality, it's not actually that far. We don't actually have to do too much to make this start looking like an owl. So I'm going to throw in another simple shape. This is basically just like a mitten down for one of its feet. And then this other one is going to be a series of triangles and rectangles, right? Nothing too crazy. If you're starting to get stressed at this part of the drawing, hang up the towel, brother, okay? Sometimes we have to know when to quit. If a triangle and a rectangle is hard for you, yo, we need to go back to the basics. Okay, I'm just going to draw a little stick that he's sitting on because I'm kind of feeling that, and I'm a loosey-goosey like that. And that's fine. And if you have a problem with that, you know where the door is. I'm going to California tomorrow. Oh, what's up, Galaxy? Are you guys flying? Are you driving? What are we doing? Thanks for the likes, Bo. Jesse, can you do Charlie Kirk next? Maybe, maybe not. As you can see, I'm kind of drawing burgers and anime characters. I don't think I want to draw Charlie Kirk on my page, but I can put it on the list. Speaking of, if you remember, I do have the Epstein list, and I will drop it if you ask for Charlie Kirk again. Okay. Cool. Flying, obviously. Sweet. Okay, back to it. Hey, everybody. We're all doing well. We have no sins here. This is a Catholic drawing stream. I am about to give sermon. Okay, we have all the simple shapes. Every drawing can be boiled down to simple shapes. I'm telling you, I've been talking about this forever. Now, what we can do... Okay, thanks, bye. Who's leaving? Oh, because of the Catholic stream comment? That's fine. Queen of NASA, oh my gosh. We're at like 16 channels. Yo, hitting it from both ends. Thank you, Gamer King Posty. That's incredible. I never knew that was your Twitch username. So, now that we have this, let's start doing some guidelines and some perspectives, alright? So, soy, shall we release the list if someone asks for Charlie Kirk? Well, there's some other stipulations, there's some other rules on when I release the list, who gets to see it, you know. It's sort of, we sort of need me to get good at drawing first, and then the list will be released. So I'm going to throw in some guidelines. This middle line, I'm just splitting this head in half, both ways, vertically and horizontally. Vertically means up and down, horizontal means side to side, you goddamn idiots. We don't want that happening again. Can I see the list? No, you can't see the list. You have not unlocked the list, and it's fine. So, with these guidelines, we can start throwing in that sort of classic owl look. where they have the huge mask on the front of their faces, right? So I'm just going to start that with 2 big circles. And what that does is it gives us a perfect spot to get that beak, that big strong beak on this guy, right? So we're just going to throw in a little bit of color there to give us an indication. We can throw in a little indication of where this sort of face fluff is going to end, which is usually in the middle of the beak. Were you at Special Guest on the Epstein's Island? I was. We were hanging out. I played a lot of ping pong there. Ninja gloves. Ninja Glover for life. Oh, is this another Queen of NASA account? Oh, because this is your Ninjago account, of course. I need to see the list to blackmail and conquer the world. You can't. You don't know how to use that much power. You don't even know how to use Twitch chat. Greetings again. What's up, Jazz? Yeah, same. Have I unlocked the list? No, no one in chat has unlocked the list. I'm telling you. If you had it, you would have it. So, with this face, we have basically all of the ingredients to make this drawing look final. I can't have Twitch, so that's good. You shouldn't have it, Galaxy. You are just where you need to be in this YouTube chat. I don't have an alt account yet. You don't need, guys, we don't need multiple accounts. I don't need to talk to most of you in multiple chats. I might make one soon, though. Alright, well, shoot me a follow. How does one get an invitation to the island? You just have to be really young and really cute. So, with all of these simple shapes that we've been cooking on for now, what is it? 15 minutes. We've spent so much time on the setup. Now we're getting to the point where we can throw in an amazing outline. And what this outline does is it's going to tell us where all of the details should be, because, ring-a-ding-a-ling, if you have an outline that you're very comfortable with, you know that the eyes have to be sort of in the middle of that outline. You know certain details have to be on the edge or in the middle or on the 3/4 line or whatever. The outline actually tells you a ton about where all of the details can live. It's sort of like a Tupperware container. I've been saying that a lot recently, and I think it's actually a really solid teaching point. If you treat all of your drawings as different sort of containers, different Tupperwares. Nathan using alt accounts to bot his account confirmed. This is actually, all of this is me chatting. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to 14 versions of myself right now. And it really works. It really helps me. It's better than the medication I'm on. So, with this outline, if we take really good care of ourselves and we really focus on keeping everything like a Tupperware container or like a little box to hold secrets, much like the box that I hold my Epstein list in, as we go along, we can throw a little bit of sauce on it wherever we need to, right? And what I mean by sauce is these little bumps, these little organic shapes on top of this outline. But if you really start thinking about it, if you're here to learn instead of just jack off like everybody else, you will see I'm taking all of those simple shapes that we spent time and whatever discussing and figuring out the perfect way to get these shapes onto this bird. You'll notice that I've turned this drawing basically into a paint by numbers. All I'm doing at this point is outlining the stuff that we had previously set up. Are we understanding this? Because if you're not, I'm going to grab you by the collar and I'm going to take you out back. How long did it take you to learn it, Jazz? What did Jazz learn? Come on, come on, come on. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin. Oh, we're talking about Ninjago again, of course, of course, of course. Okay, glad I caught up on that. So now you're looking at this drawing and you're thinking, oh my god, wait a second. There's actually kind of an owl shape coming out of this. Yeah, duh. That's the whole point of the stream, is to learn how to draw. So, with all of these outlines, we can just start ripping into just some of the smaller details. So I'm starting with this big old honkin' foot this owl has, right? And we'll move over to his other big honking stupid foot. and add in his talons, his little claws, and just keep everything pretty simple. Again, at any point I want to be able to erase anything that I've drawn and still have it look at least sort of correct, right? So, to accomplish that, I'm keeping all of these lines light enough where if I need to erase, I can. And if you're drawing at home, which I doubt any of you are, I'm paying attention to class, I have to draw good to conquer all the realms. Exactly. If you are drawing along, this is a great time to think, am I pushing really hard into the paper, or am I just doing it lightly like Nathan says? Because if you're doing it like I say, you're going to be a lot better. If you're doing it like you're doing it, you are going to suck eggs. Okay, so I'm going to go back over this outline for the wing, and guess what, baby? We're getting a little bit of spice on it. We're going to connect up to the bottom, and oh my god, all of a sudden it looks as if this owl has a wing. Look at that. Who would have thought that small progress while drawing actually works? HB to sketch? What's up, sweet siren? First time chat. What does HB mean? I ripped 10 pages of my pencil? Ooh, that's really bad, Assassin Doggo. Claws, paws, it's musical accounts over here. Is this also... I'm starting to get confused. Is this still Queen? Don't get me started on Ninjago lore. For pencil type, HB to sketch? Yes! Oh, thank you. Okay, that makes way more sense. Yes, quick little pencil lore. Quick little intro to why pencils work and which ones you need. To do light brushes, I just try and hold my pen further up, evening, by the way. Hello, yes. If this pencil was longer, I would be holding it way back here. It gives you a much better sight line. But, quick tutorial on what pencils mean. HB means hard. You can just assume it means hard. And that means that it's the same as all of the number 2 pencils you use in school, right? It's just lead, it's just graphite, it's just a nothing burger. Now, when it's a hard lead like this, an HB, a hard lead, all of the pigment from this graphite takes a harder press to get into the paper, right? So, you can get really, really light lines by just like grazing the paper. So HB is great for sketching. Then, when you want to get really dark values and dark lines, you can go up the numbers. It'll go through like 1 through 6. Queen here again. Great, I'm glad. You have so many accounts. The higher the number, the softer the lead, which means if I just lightly graze this paper, I get a way darker line than if I lightly graze with this. You see that difference? You can't even barely see that one, right? So when you're sketching, use HB. And when you're doing your finishing touches, or if you need a really dark spot, use a high number. And if you don't have any of these, that's fine. Just use a mechanical pencil. At the end of the day, the pencil will never matter. It's your skill and determination that's going to matter. I have a number 2 HB. Is that bad? No, that's great. That's exactly what you need. That is exactly what you should be drawing with. Okay, so we have that outline. We have the little horn shout out. We have, anyway, unpopular opinion, but Ninjago Dragons Rising is not the best show, and they... I can't defend that. I can't fight that. I can't even talk on that. I haven't seen any Ninjago. I just know what it is. I've seen clips. So, how to grab better my lump of coal for which I draw. Doggo, if you are drawing with charcoal, guess what? Same thing. Just hold the side of that piece of coal to try and get at least some sort of angle or sight vision, and draw like normal, baby. I've drawn with coal more times than you've gone to school, pal. I guess not. Okay, so now we can start going into some of the inner details. Because we have that outline set up, we have all of these sort of benchmarks for ourselves, right? Is everyone following? If you're not, you're getting in trouble. Now that we have this side of the head and this side of the head, we know that the face fur is going to start basically right on this ridge, and it's going to be a little bit inside or a little bit further away from this edge because that bird's head is turned, right? It's called perspective. Oh my gosh, really? Wait, are you serious? There's words for this? You can describe what you mean using language? Shut up. Okay, so we're just going to slowly but surely try and finalize some of these details. I'm focusing on the undersides of these really cool eyebrows that great horned owls have, and I'm really focusing on the fur lines, the darkest fur lines that sort of frame the face. It always helps if you are doing a drawing like this, and you are working through it very slowly like I am. Sometimes it's very helpful to have a reference next to you at all times, because when you are trying to figure out, which is the right line to draw or what is the right detail, what if it's a big lump, then you just kind of hold it like this and you pretend that you know what you're doing. It's more of a coloring thing than a drawing thing at that point. Of course, Queen of Nazca cannot talk about anything else without Ninjago. Time to go work on my Ninjago comic. Of course. Can somebody get Bloom in here? We need someone to keep the peace. So, as I was saying, having that reference is actually very, very smart. A lot of people on this app like to say that reference images are cheating, and I don't think that they're real artists. I think they're fakers, and I think they're losers. I think they're trying to get views, and they're actually making it harder for you to learn how to draw. Reference images are good, and I will explain why. If you're using a reference image, you get to see, first off, if you're using like a nature image, if you're using something that actually happens in the real world, you're getting to see something at your desk instead of having to go out in the world and see it and understand it, right? What art style from a cartoon do you really admire? Ooh, that's a good question. It's not from a comic or a cartoon, but there's an artist called Kim Jung-gi, and he is, I think, the best illustrator we have seen in a long, long time. Even old school artists back in the day used the references. Exactly. References are super important. It lets you see into the world, it lets you see objects that you've never seen before, it lets you get that library of memory in your head. And what I mean by that is, as artists, we are able to draw, or like the goal is I am able to draw a bird or an owl or whatever when I need to. I didn't know Kim Jong-un was an artist. He is, he's great. He's actually the best, and he can talk to dolphins. As we're drawing, we're able to draw everything that we've seen, right, or anything that we can imagine, or whatever, at certain perspectives, or all different perspectives, or all of these things. That's the goal, right? And the only way you get there is by practicing. The only way you get there is by drawing all of those things a bunch of different ways, and slowly getting down to it, right? So, reference images, if you do it correctly, you see that reference image, you draw it as much as you can, you do all of these tutorials, you do all of this work with this reference image, and then when you're going out and drawing something again, without a reference, you're going back to your memory and you're realizing, oh my god, I actually learned how to draw this eyeball just the other day because I was looking at some other reference that just happened to include an eyeball. And references, because of that, are kind of goated. They're kind of goated sauce, dude. They're kind of like totally goated sauce. 6-7 meme brain rot awesome sauce. Isn't that epic? That's why references are cool. People who call them cheating don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they should be put down like the dogs they are. Okay, back to this owl. Now, because everything, all of these outlines, all of these things have been set up for myself, by me, and no one else, I can just sort of freely float through and get a bunch of the details that I think are really important. So, what these really important details are the eyes, the beak. I see a burger, so my fat ass immediately clicks. What's up, Nubby? I'm glad to have you. Sweet siren with a clapping emoji. I like that. I like that little kitty cat. It's not cheating until you sit there and trace the image stroke for stroke. I would agree, but also, here's another tip for everyone in chat. Tracing can be very, very helpful too. Tracing does the same thing. If you're having a really, really hard time drawing, and you really just need a little bit of help, trace the image. It's fine. Congrat Oh, thanks, Kelly. Trace the image. It's fine. You can understand shape, you can understand details, you can understand dimensions by tracing, but the thing that makes it cheating is if you're only ever tracing all the time, you're not actually learning anything, you're just learning how to trace, right? So, my goal for you, or my challenge for you, is trace something, have a fantastic time, have a fun time tracing it, but then draw it just from memory like 10 minutes later and see how much you learned from that trace job, right? Because you'll slowly understand, because you traced that one thing and you figured out, oh, that's actually how a chin looks. Like that's the curve of the eyeball if the face is facing this way. You slowly learn all of these little tips and tricks from that trace job, and then you upgrade all of the times that you need to draw that thing next without a reference or without a trace. So, a ton of people, myself included, sometimes will say tracing is cheating and it's horrible, but if you use it the right way, it's actually like pretty awesome. It's Murdoch. Yeah, baby. Okay. So, continuing on. As I was talking, you would notice that I was doing a bunch of the face details. The only way that I had the ability to do those face details is because we spent that time doing the outline. Shoot, you right, let me get a picture right now. See? It works! I like to trace references to get the form down and analyze it, then redraw it myself. That's the perfect way to use tracing. That is like the best, bar for bar, the best way to do it. I've run out of accounts for now. Dusk, I'm telling you, you don't need more accounts. You have got plenty. There have been 40 new chatters, and they've all been your accounts. Yeah, Jazz, I can draw a reference most exactly just by looking at it. Yeah, that's great. And like every time you're learning, just a little bit by a little bit. I traced the structure of an image and used it to make my own poses using that structure. That's fantastic. That is, yes, perfect route. So, going through, continuing on with this drawing, we have that face. It's at least like marked out. We know where the eyes are, we know where the beak is, we know where the ears are. Now we're kind of moving into the body, and the rest of the body is going to be extremely simple. But because it's going to be extremely simple, I want to do a gray wash on it. And what a gray wash is I'm just taking my pencil and very lightly coloring everything in. So then all of the details I'm about to add have sort of a backdrop to them, and it makes the drawing feel a little bit fuller. It feels like there's depth in there, like the ocean, man. Okay, from here, whenever you're gray washing, here's a fun tip for you that no one's ever taught you. No one's ever taken you to the park, no one's ever thrown you a ball. We get it. I will give you this tip. When you are gray washing, think about the form. Think about the shape that you are gray washing. If the bird's body is sloping down like this and kind of bulbous, all of the shading lines are going to follow that same form. It's going to follow this outline line down, because if I have all of my pencil lines facing that same direction, when I look at this drawing, it's going to show me basically shape and form without me having to really think about it. Those directional lines trick your brain. Drawing is all illusion. It's basically magic. You are just constantly trying to trick people into thinking that you're drawing 3D when it's just pencil on a paper. You understand that? Is that making sense? If it's not, get out of here. Okay. So, now with that gray wash done, we basically just have to do some finer details. So, I'm going to go in, and this is another great time to use a reference. I'm going to go in and add just a little bit of detail. I don't want to spend an hour on this drawing, because guess what? That's just not fun for me. If I was seriously doing an owl drawing, I would, but since we're just doing a tutorial, I'm going to free float through a lot of these details, and then we can talk about them as I go. So, if you were seriously doing this, you would draw every single feather, you would try and draw every little ruffle. Is that a great horned owl? It is! Exactly! Nubby! That's actually a huge compliment because if someone said it was a different type of owl, I would have failed. So I'm just going to lay in very simple versions of details that you can see, and you can see that as you layer them, it starts to look more and more realistic, right? So if you are at home or if you're ever drawing an owl, you can do this to a much higher degree, and you will get a much better concept and a much better outcome than I'm getting right now, because I'm just I'm phoning it in, right? I'm just throwing some lines in to show you that I'm pretending to care. So, I would have frustratingly tried to draw each belly feather. You should. I think that would be a fantastic, like a night project, is just try and draw every feather of a bird. And you're going to see yourself get infinitely better at drawing with just one bird finished. I'm low-key supposed to be working on the final project for my intro to animation class. Whoa, you animate, Jazz? I never knew that. That's cool. And it's the same for dragon puppets. I never watched a tutorial, looked at other videos, observed how they did it, and watched tutorials all the time, improved a lot. Exactly. Like, it's all just, like, learn by watching is a very real thing, and learn by references, learn by doing, learn by whatever. Learn by beatings, that would work. So, basically, the rest of this drawing, I hate to tell you all this, is whatever you want to make it. You can just go in to every little piece of this bird and add more and more detail and just make it look as realistic or cartoony as you want. And because I don't need to do that, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to throw in little indications of feathers and texture and whatever everywhere. And I'm going to call it good. I'm going to jump back up to the face and show you how to finish that stuff. But, like I said, birds' feathers are crazy. And because this tutorial is not supposed to be 3 hours long, we are not going to draw them. We can come back down to these feet and we can draw a little indication that there is some fluffy feathers on the undercarriage of this bird, right? And again, we're just following those outlines that we had set up earlier, so this should be a pretty easy add. We can just add a little bit of spice to this outline. We can add a little flare to these back tail feathers. And you're already seeing that this owl is turning out pretty solid. And all we've been doing this whole time is focusing on simple shapes, slow detail, and proportions, right? Are we all figuring this out? Are we all thinking about stuff? Pool Shredder, what up? We're drawing a horned owl. So, remember when I was talking about gray washing, everybody? Is that ringing a bell? Hey, Miss Ivan, what's up? Very cool. Thank you very much, Pool Shredder. If we all remembered what I was talking about with gray washing, yeah, I animate for my final project. I have to make an animated short, at least a minute long. Oh, sweet, you have until January 5th? But I've been procrastinating. Oh, you have buckets of time. You can get that done. With that gray washing, I was talking about making sure all of your pencils. Is that a Gorillaz character I see on top of that crow? Yeah, baby. That's the bass player. Directional lines are very important. Directional lines show the 3D object as it lays. So with this head, because that head is a circle, it's a topper, right? It's moving away from us, up and away, like the horizon. I'm going to draw lines that go straight up, and as they get to the top of the head, they're going to curve in just a little bit, right? We're going to have just a little bit of curve at the top of that head to make it look like this should be a straight line, but it's curving over a 3D object. And as we connect all of the lines, this owl slowly looks a lot more realistic because these curved lines are tricking our brains into thinking that this thing is 3D. So we're just going to follow that method around the whole head, the whole thing, and even into the neck. We can add feathers that make it look like this is drooping down into the body, and he's got a little bit of ruffle, a little bit of flare, a little bit of texture all in there. Are you seeing that? Just by curving some of these lines and spacing them out a little bit, we get a ton of texture into this bird's head. And that's why directional lines are extremely important. So, you just keep doing that. You keep ripping. Off of the beak, those lines are going to be a different direction. Off this side, those lines are going to be a different direction. Over on the side of the head, they're going to be a little bit of a different direction. And you can just sort of keep playing with and keep figuring stuff out, and then you can start adding in all of the detail on top of that directional gray wash. So great horned owls have a lot of specks, little specks of color in their fur. So we're going to throw in a ton of little dots there on the top of the head. They have a lot of darkness on these wings, on these horns of theirs. So I'm going to add in a little bit of that. This is going to end up being pretty dark. Their eyes and their eyebrows end up being pretty dark. So we're just moving along everywhere in this drawing and darkening up everything that we need to darken up, especially the outsides of the eyes, the pupils. We can just slowly but surely add in all of the detail that we need, right? The neck fur is fantastic. Thank you very much. Hopefully it's about to get a lot better. Now, with all of this detail, with all of this sort of setup, obviously I didn't go all the way because this is just going to be a quick tutorial, but now, once you get to this point where you have sort of everything mapped out with that light pencil, you can go in with your darker pencil or maybe a pen or whatever and start outlining and finalizing some of these lines. So see how much darker things get the second I start using the soft pencil. So we're just going to follow and cut in on this beautiful outline that we set up before. And you can even use this phase to sort of highlight or refine or fix some of your mistakes. I'm probably just going to be a pretty purist with this one. We can go down and around to the top of the head, back up to this horn, give it a little flare on top, just a little bit of extra gas. And then we're going to follow that down, continue on, maybe add a little bit of feather ruffles there, a little bit of jagged edges, and all of a sudden those outlines start to make this thing look crazy and intentional. And then same thing with this foot, we can really lay in some of this detail, some of this tree branch, right? And all of a sudden what's going to start happening is that all of the colors that we just drew, all of that gray washing starts to pop, it starts to contrast, it starts to build. The extra flare on the horn is definitely necessary. Thank you very much. I think so too. And now that we have the outline done, we just have to go in with that reference in mind, if you are using a reference, and we're only going to put this dark pencil on all the darkest spots, right? So that means the eyeballs are going to get an outline for sure. The pupils are going to get colored in. The underside of the eyebrow is going to get colored in, and we can have that connect just a little bit up into this horn, and we can even throw in some directional lines to show that this has a little bit of weight to it. Same thing on this side. We'll throw in a couple of curved lines to make it seem like it's curving away from the body. That horn or that the beak is definitely going to get colored in all the way. And then, just for some fun, I'm going to throw in a couple of squiggly lines that aren't solid to give us the illusion that this is fur, right? And we can even throw a little bit of sketch lines around those eyes to make them pop a bit more. But you see that? You see how much things start to pop as we start adding in this dark color? And then you can start switching up some of these texture lines and some of these fur lines, and all of a sudden we get this great deal of detail. And all I'm drawing are just like a bunch of C's, right? So you can do that everywhere on your bird. And oh my gosh, wait a second. He's starting to cook. Wait, you're telling me if you take your time on a drawing and and you add details where necessary, it starts to look like a drawing? What? Really? Yes, exactly. That's actually the only thing that makes a drawing. But you can just continue on. You do as much detail as you want, or as little detail as you want. Doesn't really matter. You just get to play with everything at this point, and all of a sudden you're going to start seeing a ton of details start popping out, showing off, acting awesome. We can add in a little speck work. Like, look at this. Look at this guy. All he was a big blobby circle and a big blobby oval, and now all of a sudden he's a whole bird. He's a real little man. And he's cute too. And that's it. That's how you draw a great horned owl. Just pretend. Pretend the whole way until the very end, and then all of a sudden you actually have a pretty solid drawing. Doing the base sketch of that owl would have taken me 5 hours. Exactly, but if you do all of those simple shapes first that we did at the beginning, that baseline sketch, that outline, is only going to take a fraction of that time. It's going to take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then the rest of the drawing that's going to end up taking the hours is going to be way, way easier. Why is one ear bigger than the other? Because he's kind of turning this one down. He's like that, just a little bit. And also, not everything in the world is perfect like you, Crow. You are starting to cook, though. Irrelevant fact, owls are my favorite animal. Oh, sweet. You should try drawing one with armor, like that movie, I forgot the name. That is a good idea. Crow, this person on TikTok is saying put armor on the bird, just like you. That would be very fun. With that, oh my gosh, we got 5,000 likes on TikTok. Look at us. Look at us growing and shaking and moving. With that, it's already very, very late. We did one very solid drawing. I feel comfortable with that. I am going to end the stream. Guardians of Ga'Hoole? Oh yes! Holy smokes, Jazz! What a call! Damn, buddy. Nubby, you're enjoying it? You want me to stay on longer? Well, tell the other human to get some originality because I said that first. Ooh, Pure Moji, you just got dissed. Everyone else also wants the armor. Thanks for the likes, Mrs. Ivan. It's always very, very nice that you sit in here with us. I made a dragon puppet idea. My boyfriend somehow still loves me and said I could do it matching dragon together for anniversary. Whoa, that would actually be so cool. Matching dragons would be so awesome. What else do we got? What else do we got? I don't want to draw anymore. And I have to go to bed early because I'm traveling tomorrow. Isn't that awesome? Don't mind giving him the credit. Oh, look at that, Crow. You just made a friend. That's very nice of you, Primoji. Alright. Dude, let's cut it off before we start losing it. Alright? Everybody, thank you very much for watching. This was a pleasure. I'm glad I was able to draw an owl for you. Still have not released the list yet. Maybe some other time. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Dude, Bangerade. We were better than 97% of people with the same amount of following. I love those little TikTok stats. For a little time I've been here is good. Followed you. Oh, thank you, Nubby. I try and go live most weeknights. I'll try and start doing it earlier. I think across the board everyone is pretty upset that I go live late like this. So, what we'll do, I'll be a little bit earlier. Maybe the next couple days will be rough because I'm going to be traveling and seeing family. But we'll reset schedule. We'll try and do it every day on the weekdays. And I think we're going to have a fantastic time. And I'm going to get better at teaching and better at drawing. And we're going to hang out, Nebby. Props to you. That's nice to hear, Nathan. Well, thank you, Crow. I was expecting violence and anger, but now I feel bad. No, 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 it's good. It's a good thing that TikTok's finally being nice to YouTube chat. Let's go. I'm liking Nubby. You guys should be friends with Nubby. Nubby's cool as hell. Okay. I think this is adios. I think this is goodbye, everyone. This is awesome. This is a great stream. Okay. I will see you soon. I am bringing a camera with me on my travels, so I'll be able to stream more tutorials if I get the time. Don't worry. Have a nice night. Thank you. You too. Good night, everybody.